Hello. You don't know me most likely, but if you will allow me, I would like to change that. My name is Jason Nelson, and like most stories, mine starts at the beginning. Playing video games is one of my oldest memories, and living in the environment and around the people that I did, I was constantly bombarded with the idea that games are bad. A phrase I would hear constantly from my family was to go play outside, go do something, just get off the video games. Still, I played as much as I could whenever I had the chance. I never really wanted anything more than just immerse myself in the game world of my choosing. And as I got older, it evolved into not only my favorite activity, but a stress relief from life, school, work. It wasn't until around 6th grade that I actually started to consider a career in some sort of game design or development. However, even in school, whenever there was a project involving future jobs and careers, game creation was always my go-to. Unfortunately, this wasn't a popular choice, and I was flat out told more than once that there was no future in it and it would never make me any money. I figured out pretty quickly that no one cared about this to the extent that I did, and worse, I had no support from anyone but a handful of friends. Now, I've always struggled with ADHD, and my grades were never great to begin with, and as I figured out public school was never going to get me what I needed, they only got worse. One day, I think it was around 8th or 9th grade, I came home to find out my uncle had built the family a brand new custom computer. I took an interest in it immediately and started, story role-playing, just writing stories in general every day. I spent all of my free time doing something on it. I got to a point where I was getting up at 4 in the morning just so I could squeeze an hour or two of writing or gaming before school every day. I would always beg my mother to buy the special edition of whatever game that was new at the time, because I loved the behind-the-scenes stuff of the developers. Oddly enough, it was these extra features on the video games that got me interested in all aspects of game and film creation. I tried to dabble in everything from Photoshop to web design and all the art and programming in between. I was even animating with Adobe Fireworks for a while. No matter what medium I had, though, I was always creating. Sometime later, the computer suffered some sort of a hard drive failure, and that was pretty much the end of it. Despite my achievements, I was still failing school. My mother wasn't going to allow me to live in her basement forever, so when I turned 15, I had to go out and get my first job. It was also around this time that I was getting my driver's license and started to develop an interest in vehicles and engines. I was pretty handy mechanically, and at only 16 I was installing things like full stereo systems, monitors, neons, you name it. I thought I had found my calling and actually worked for a mechanic for a few months during my senior year. I quickly learned, however, that wasn't something I wanted to do professionally. This left me at my high school graduation with nothing. I had no job, no plan, and no direction. My life was over before it really even began, it seemed. Not long after this, I landed a job I hated and moved out. I was still miserable and just gradually got worse with every year. Eventually, it came to a point to where I had to do something. I couldn't stand how stagnant my life had become. I started thinking about what I could do to change that, and I decided one day that in an effort to prove to myself that I was capable of anything, I taught myself how to build my own computers, and I crafted my first one from online parts. I got into YouTube, got into Twitch, but it wasn't bringing in any money. I'd hear all the time about game developers, a lot of my favorites hiring, and would just get angry. I couldn't afford the hundreds of dollars up front out of pocket to teach myself the skills I needed on a professional level for these jobs, but I had to make a change somehow. My wife recommended college, and after a bit of research, I found Full Sail. I figured if I can teach myself to construct and configure something as intricate as a PC, what's to stop me from this? So I took the risk, and now here I am with a bachelor's in game design, and all the skills I need to code, storyboard, program, you name it. And here you are, needing someone to do just that. So if you'll allow me, I'd like to change that.